So here's the real deal on how easy it is to make a Nearpod presentation. So at this point, you've already made your account, and we poked around in there a little bit and found that we have more features than we thought we were going to have, probably related to the enhancements that they've given for free due to COVID-19. And now we're in here and we're on our lesson library. And again, we can find our way back here always by clicking on the little house. Now, the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to make a folder because I want to try to keep things organized as I go. You're welcome to just keep making Nearpod presentations and let them load here on your landing page. I like to keep myself a little more organized. So I can click this plus sign and I can start to make a lesson in Nearpod. I can make a lesson in Google Slides, or I can add a folder. Now, if I didn't click on that, I could still just come right here and start to build a lesson in Nearpod, or I could start to build my lesson in Google Slides. I personally am not a Googler, so you're going to see me using that build a lesson in Nearpod. If you're a Google person, you're way more tech savvy than I am anyway, so go do your thing. But I am going to make a folder real quick to show you how easy that is. So I'm going to say create a presentation, and that's what I'm going to call this folder. So now that I've made that folder, it puts me inside the folder. Now guess what? Once I'm in here, I can make a folder inside a folder. So I use that in my Nearpod lesson library so that I have a folder for my A&P class, and then within that folder I have a Unit 1 folder and a Unit 2 folder and a Unit 3 folder so that I can keep myself organized. Before I realized I had the ability to do that, my landing page was a hot mess, and I was using those keywords that you're going to see that you can put in the description of your presentation to help me find what I was looking for in my own mess of digital files. So I'm going to come back to my lesson library, and now you're going to see that I have this folder has been added, and it tells me I don't have any presentations in there yet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to build a lesson in Nearpod. Now I'm going to build it out here on the landing page so I can show you how to move things into and out of a folder later. So I'm going to build a lesson right here within Nearpod. And I like to title mine before I get going just so that I don't forget. So I am going to call this one Nearpod How to Create a Presentation. And I probably could have capitalized all that. So my description here is just going to be Nearpod training. For grades, I'm going to say that this is professional development. And for subject, again, I'm going to pick professional development. Now, the more information you put here, the easier it is for you to use it later to search. It also, if you end up getting a district license, when you share things to the school and the district library, it makes it easier for other teachers to search within those lessons too. So I'm going to hit submit, and now I have a title. So here is where we could take one of two paths. And the path I am going to take is to show you how to take a PowerPoint presentation you already have and upload it to Nearpod and then add their features. As I add the features, I'm going to show you how easy it would be to just go ahead and build one right here within Nearpod. But if you are like I was, I already had PowerPoints that I was happy with, that I had used with my students, and I wanted to put them in Nearpod to make them more engaging and interactive and allow me to collect information from the kids to inform my instruction and to determine mastery and help me assign grades. So if you have a PowerPoint you already like, all you're going to do is click right here at Upload Files. Now, this is also the spot that if you had a PDF file that you wanted to turn into a Nearpod presentation, that you would find your PDF file and upload it, and every page would be a slide within the Nearpod. So if you are working from Google, you would go here, Microsoft 360 from the cloud, your OneDrive, Dropbox. I have it old school hanging out on this computer right now. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab that Nearpod how-to PowerPoint that I made just for this, and I'm going to upload it. I made it short and sweet so that it would upload rather quickly because my internet's not the greatest. You probably noticed my videos at times with the Zoom will kind of slow down a little bit. But what you're going to see is that the file is processing. As long as these gears are turning, it's still uploading. Once it's uploaded, these little orange frames around these, they have been checked. If I were to click delete right now, it would delete all of the ones with the orange frame around them. Now notice it's still processing, so it's not quite ready for me to go in and start messing with it yet. So I made a short PowerPoint. Depending on your account size, again, you know, it's limited with the silver account, and the more you upgrade your account, the more storage that you get. The first year I used Nearpod, I started converting my PowerPoint presentations and adding all the awesome features that Nearpod offers. And then I ran out of space. So because my kids, I got such awesome feedback from the kids, and because it improved my instruction and gave me all that good data to help inform where I needed to go next, I went in and deleted older presentations to make room for new presentations. And then when I got my upgraded account and I went to start the next year, I had to go recreate all those ones I deleted. If I had known then what I know now, I would have just gotten the credit card out at that point and not had to redo all of that work. So I am thinking that it probably is. I'm going to click save right now, because once, and it's going to tell me it's still processing, I'll be unable to edit this lesson until the process is complete. So I'm going to say got it. Sometimes it'll do that, and if you hit save, so it's still saving right now before it lets me go back into it. So here it is. It's now sitting on my landing page. I did create a free account, and look what we see. Student Paste. They have upgraded the silver users, and they are giving you some of the gold user features. And again, it's because of this stupid pandemic. But this is good news for you that you get to try it out this way. This is fantastic. I am liking this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit this. Okay. So I click edit, and it lets me go into this presentation, and I'm going to hit preview real quick so that I can talk to you about this information, because when it's in edit mode, the slides that are there, like, it's kind of hard for me to see because the print is small. So I'm going to go through this as if I were a student, and I'm going to make notes to myself. Where do I want to add stuff? So some things I want you to know about this PowerPoint that we just uploaded. When you upload or you import into Nearpod, it is, you're uploading or importing a PowerPoint, a PDF file, and again, each page will become a Nearpod slide, or you're bringing in your Google Slides. Now, if you are bringing in Google Slides and it had interactive features in it, you are going to lose those, and you will need to add those back in. If you start building your Google Slides within Nearpod itself, it will keep those interactive features. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, once you've imported or uploaded those files, Nearpod has uploaded them as an image. Okay, so I can't go inside this slide and change any of the wording. I can't make any edits to this. My options are to keep it as is, and your kids will point out typos if you have any, or what I'll do is I will create a Nearpod content slide. I'll put the information that was on this slide in there, fix my mistake, and then come back and delete this one. So if you find a mistake on one slide, it is not worth going into the PowerPoint, editing it, and re-uploading it. I work my way around that by, again, using the slides that Nearpod offers me to put that content into there and then delete the one that I found the mistake on. And again, that's from trial and error. Or you take your time and you make sure the one that you're uploading is edited the way you like it before you upload it. So then what you're going to do, once it's downloaded and your gears quit turning and you have it in Nearpod, is you're now going to come in and add all the awesome features that Nearpod offers to make this presentation interactive and engaging to your students. once you've created the presentation and you've used it in your students, either in live paced where you're controlling synchronously with all of your students how they're moving through it, or in student paced for asynchronous instruction that allows the kids to move through the presentation at their pace, you will then look at the reports and look at the information that you got back from your kids to allow you to inform your instructions, to identify misconceptions, to identify who needs remediation, who's ready for some enrichment, and to determine mastery and use that to help you assign some grades. Now, one of the things you're going to be able to do is duplicate this lesson. So when I am making a Nearpod presentation, I have my average student in mind, and I make my Nearpod for that average student, and then I can duplicate it, and I can add some scaffolding, and I can then make one for my students who struggle a little bit, or maybe they've been absent and they're behind on content a little bit and they need some support. I can also duplicate, and I can add some tougher enriching questions to take those students who need to be pushed further. So it allows for differentiation in an awesome way. I would change the title slightly so that you recognize, okay, this is my regular Nearpod, and you can do that. Like, you could add a star. You could, it doesn't have to be obvious to your students, oh, well, I'm getting the one for kids who need help. You know, they label themselves. We don't need to put labels on them. So that's some advice I would give for that. So now I have this, and I'm not going to go in and add every feature possible. I showed what all the Nearpod features are in the overview, and I know that's a long Nearpod presentation, but they're all there. My advice to you is to go in and play with it and see what all it has to offer. So I can add a slide. I can look at my content slide options again, content, 3D models, PhET simulations, field trips, BBC videos, Sway, slideshows. This links you to YouTube, and you can search within there. The PDF viewer, if you had a handout you wanted the kids to do along with this, and you don't have another platform for getting it to them, you could upload it right here, and then they could download it and work on it from here. I am going to throw a video in here just because I like to be able to search YouTube. So I'm going to look for biology crash course, and maybe we'll just look at carbon. Let's see what it gives us. So I can preview this video right here so that I can look and see, is this really the video I want?
If you're wondering, this is how.
And I watch it for a few seconds. I'm like, oh no, that's not the one I wanted. I need the one about the carbon cycle. So I can preview this for a second, and I can say, yeah, that is the one I wanted. And then I just click save. So I haven't had to click in and out of Nearpod to get a YouTube video as part of my presentation. So I can leave this here at the end, or I can very easily take it and I can drop it and drag it where I want it to go. Now I can also just go to where I am in the PowerPoint, and I can add a slide right here. So here's my list of content that we just saw. Or maybe I want to add an activity, and I'm going to add an open-ended question. And that question could be, what would you like to know more about in regards to using Nearpod? Okay, so now here's another really cool feature. I can click enable audio recordings, and my students can now record their answer to me. They can record their response to me. I can add media, I can add videos, I can add instruction. So if I click on audio recorder here, this now allows me to record my audio, and I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to hit allow, and I'm going to click on the microphone. So this is the feature that you can use to read the directions to your kids, or to give them a verbal prompt for what you're looking for from them in a response. So I hit pause. Now, before I just have to go back through the whole presentation and hope I recorded that correctly, I can hit play. So this is the feature that you can use to read the directions to your kids. And I can see whether or not I'm happy with how it sounds. If I'm happy with how it sounds, I hit save. If I'm like, oh, I sounded like garbage, I can trash it and I can re-record it right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that one. And usually if I have the audio enabled for my students, I will add a note. Please notice that you can provide a recorded verbal response. There are times when I post questions in here that I tell them, don't type me your answer, I want you to talk to me. And while we've been apart, getting to hear their voices, that was really nice. I can also add a timer. So if this were more of a summative piece, if you wanted to make sure, like, I want to know that they know it, I don't want them Googling it, I don't want them looking back through their notes, you could put a timer on here to limit the amount of time that they have. That's not my style of teaching, and that's not the way I use Nearpod, but if that's a tool you would like to use, go for it. So I'm going to hit save. And now this will be part of that. And I'm not going to go in and show you every feature. It's the activity pieces are what will show up in a report. And notice, I keep clicking on it. You have to scroll over. Don't just click, click, and click. Like you scroll, and then you go over what you want, and then you click on it. Let's go with, how about a collaborate board? And you can pick the theme. I kind of like the chalkboard. Notice you only get 60 characters for the big topic, but you get more characters for this. Again, this is the feature that it's electronic post-it notes. The only person who sees the name of who posted each thing is you as the teacher. It's anonymous on the student side. It's a wonderful tool for promoting discussion, for brainstorming, to help students prompt each other's learning, those slow starters. If they can see what somebody else said and they're able to like each other's comments and post as well. So for this topic, I'm just going to put what next, and my question will be, what would you like to know more about? Very similar to my short answer question. And that is to show you that there are different ways to get that information. If you want them to be able to kind of bounce off of each other, the collaborate board is awesome. If you want it to be more secure and I want to know your thoughts and your thoughts only and not you playing off of other people, then I would use the open-ended question piece. On the collaborate piece, they can also respond to you with pictures, which is also pretty fantastic. So I'm not going to go through every feature that the presentation offers. That's all I'm going to throw in there for now. I wanted you to be able to see how to upload a PowerPoint, how to build a presentation within Nearpod. If I hadn't uploaded the PowerPoint first, I simply would have just kept adding slides from here, content slides, and I will show you how similar a Nearpod slide is to a PowerPoint slide. You can change the layout down here. You can add a background picture, and again, you can search for that through Google Images. I can add audio to this. Same way I did that short answer slide, I just simply allow permission for my microphone to be used, and I can read what's on the slide. You can do that with your PowerPoint slides that you uploaded as well. And once you've created a slide, at any point in time, you can preview what that slide looks like by clicking on the preview. And then to get out of this one, you're either going to cancel the creation of this slide or you're going to save the slide and it's going to take you back out. So I am not going to save this one. I'm going to hit save and exit. So that brings me back out here. And I do want to show you that feature I was just talking about. On this one, I can add a background if I want to, but I can add audio. And I'm going to use this audio recorder. This was wonderful for delivering new content to my students while we were apart. It's wonderful for delivering content to students if you're using something like the grid method with self-paced mastery learning, to where maybe not all the kids are taking the notes on the same day, so that asynchronous learning piece. The kids have to choose to listen to this file. It'll put it down here as a little file bar and they would pick play. Sometimes the kids, I'm sure, decide they don't want to listen to my voice and they read the slide and feel like, yeah, I get it, and they move on. And maybe later, as they're doing the activities, they recognize, you know what, I took those notes and I read that, but I don't understand it. I'm going to go back and listen to what Miss Reader had to say. So that gets added here. I'll go ahead and click it. I'll allow my microphone. One of the things I will warn is it does take up some of the space on this image that got uploaded, but you can change the size of the image to make sure that your little recording bar isn't blocking any important information on that slide. So again, I'd hit record. I would talk about what's on this slide. When I'm done talking, I hit pause. I can play it back to see if I'm happy with it. And if I'm happy with it, I hit save. If I don't like it, I trash it, okay? But I'll just go ahead and hit save, and I'll leave it on there just for the fun of it. So I'm gonna save this. I think it was downloading. See, it's still saving because it had that file on it. So now when I'm ready and I wanna save this all together, I can just hit save and exit. I can preview the whole presentation to make sure I'm happy with it. I'm going to take this video and I am going to move it randomly to the end there. And I think I'm going to leave these just like this for now. I'm going to hit save and exit. And again, I built this out on my library landing page, so that's where it's saving to. If I want to move it into this folder, all I have to do is click the ellipse and you'll see what the options are. So when I click that, I can share it with other teachers. I would need the email address that that teacher used for their Nearpod account. I could duplicate it, again, for differentiation. Duplicating is also super important if you've already launched a code for the presentation and you need to go in and make some changes. It will eliminate that previous code, so you're going to want to duplicate it first, and it will give you a heads up about that. I can export it as a PDF, and I can share it as a file, or I can have copies printed off. This would take me straight to my reports that are associated with this presentation, or I can trash it. I definitely don't want to trash it. What I want to do is I want to move it to a folder, and guess what? I think maybe because this is the silver account, it is not letting me do that. So I would have needed to build it in this folder to begin with. So heads up for those of you using the freebie, I guess it's not, maybe I can drag it. Will it let me drag it in there? I just learned something new. Okay, that was really exciting for me. Yeah, so now they made moving it even easier. So now it's a drop and drag deal. I'm gonna have to go to my other account and see if it works that way there too. Now, if I didn't want it in here anymore, I can remove it from my folder. Now, I wish they had a different icon because the remove it and the trash it look a whole lot alike, and I've been terrified to click this, but face your fear. If you click it and it removes it from the folder, guess where it puts it? It puts it back out here in your landing page is always the default. So now I can add it to my folder. See, this is another way you can add it to folders. I can click on the folder I want it to go to, and I can get it in there. Now, if I had a folder inside a folder, once I'm in here, I'd want to move it again. So now the other thing I'm going to show you here, I think I said I was going to show you, is how to launch it. So now once you have a presentation and you're ready to launch it, you simply click. I could click here and launch it as a live lesson, meaning you can't interact with it until I'm on this end and I am moving you through it for a synchronous lesson. So that code isn't going to do anybody any good unless I'm ready to present it, okay? And the first time you log on to do this, it is going to give you that little bit of a tutorial so you can do that. Now, what you're going to see on your side in a live lesson, down here is the list of students that you're waiting for. And I'm going to do another presentation where I show you these features when I can use my husband as a student, okay? But this lets you know who's hanging out and signed on. So I'm going to back out of there. So yes, I can resume this later. I'll just put that same code back out there for my kids. I'm going to have to go back in here to find it. So now I can launch it in student paced mode for asynchronous learning. And when you do this, so again, I was right. I figured that out. This is good through June 30th, this free student pace mode business. I don't know what it'll look like next school year if we're starting with remote learning, if they will extend that. So get access to that. I clicked on that. Here we are. So in my advanced settings from a previous presentation, when I set up this account, I said, yes, I want to require student submissions as the default. Now, I can turn that off for individual codes. Okay. So if I'm launching it for the first time, I probably would leave that on. And after several days, if I had kids that I know I wanted them to go back and try it again, I would turn this off and launch another code so that they could go through it and go to the spot where they had trouble and review just that one area without having to resubmit all their answers. So this is where I can set the due date. And again, I'm going to time travel. We're going to head on over to 2021 and hope for better times on a lot of fronts. So once this code is launched and students start logging in, you can peek in on their progress by clicking here. You can also, once students have started using the code, it will also show up in your reports. And I'm going to do an entirely different video on launching the lessons and looking at the reports when I've got my hubby here to pretend to be a student. So I think this is where I'm going to end this one. You can launch as many codes as you want for this one presentation. So I could launch another code, and maybe this one I am going to require student submissions for it. Maybe I have different personalities in my different groups of kids, and some I know won't skip things. So there's all kinds of different scenarios you can look at. I'm going to turn it off because I assume some of you watching this may go and try these codes out. This one I'm going to have it end a little bit sooner. What I really like too is you can go in here and at any point in time, I can come in and edit when this due date is. I can make it shorter, I can extend it, and I can make it longer. And all I have to do is apply it. For every code that you launch, whether it's live or student paced, every code will have its own report waiting for you. So communicating which code you want your students to use to get them into the correct report is really important. So I'm going to thank you for spending some time learning about Nearpod with me. I really do. It is my favorite teaching tool ever. And I will follow up with those other videos I promised in the near future. Thanks so much, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Bye-bye.